welcome to AMC News. I'm Natasha, your favorite news anchor and scientist, here today to talk about disease, specifically disease happening in the Sahel region. What do you know about Berber horses?
Nothing. I've never heard of that before in my life.
What do you think the correlation is between the mortality rate of horses and flies?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Horses and flies?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
How do you think the spread of disease will change as climate change gets worse?
It's gonna get worse.
I'm gonna get help from some experts. First, I'm here with Max.
I'm ready whenever.
To start things off, what's happening in the Sahel?
There has been extensive areas of Africa exceeding 2 degrees Celsius of warming above pre-industrial levels by the last 2 decades of the century. Much of Africa has already warmed up by more than 1 degree Celsius since 1901, with an increase in heat waves and hot days.
That doesn't sound good. Can you explain to me how this impacted different factors in the ecosystem?
Well, there are increasing temperatures and sea levels, unusual precipitation patterns, extreme weather conditions. It is also threatening human and health safety, increasing the spread of disease, affecting food and water security.
One last question. How has the environment in the Sahel changed over time today, and how will it change in the future?
To go back in the disease history of the Sahel, the CDC first started paying attention to Africa and disease in the year 1966, when they established a smallpox eradication program after serious outbreaks in 1969. The CDC and Africa celebrated the 100 million vaccines injected. Today, respiratory infections, HIV and AIDS and malaria are the leading diseases in Africa in humans. 50 years into the future, Africa's CDC will continue taking action against outbreaks and raise funds to advance technology and healthcare.
That's great. Now I'm here with Anika. So what's a population that's been standing out with how it's been affected by disease?
Well, Berber horses, which were previously mentioned, have been significantly affected by vector-borne diseases, which are infectious illnesses that are caused by biting bugs, for example, mosquitoes and ticks, and those are carrying viruses.
I see. And how are they affected?
Well, there was a large outbreak of African horse sickness around 2016 that was caused by unusually heavy rainfall. There was a dramatic increase in biting midges, and these bugs thrive in hot, rainy environments. So these insects feed on animal blood and transmit diseases like AHS, and the outbreak in 2016 resulted in huge mortalities in Berber horses in Chad.
Do you think Berber horses in this region will be able to reproduce enough to get back to their previous numbers?
I don't think so, because horses reproduce far less than other species, and mares only birth one foal at a time. So getting their numbers back up will be even harder because they have a 70 to 95% mortality rate from African horse sickness.
Oh wow. Thank you, Anika. Of course. Let's switch things up a bit. My buddy Chloe here is going to interview me.
Hi guys! First question, are Berber horses going to migrate, adapt, or die due to this mass spread of disease?
Unfortunately, these horses are going to die. This is because no matter where they migrate to, the constant spread of disease will still be prominent. This mass spread of diseases has become a problem all over the Sahel region. If Berber horses wanted to migrate to where this was not an issue anymore, they would have to travel extremely far. Even if the horses could reach a new habitat, it may not contain resources suited for the barb horses. The horses also can't adapt because, as Anika said earlier, they reproduce slowly and only have one offspring at a time. So the horses would die before they could migrate to a region with a lower amount of disease.
That is so sad. What other populations are impacted by this change in horses?
Well, mosquitoes, which are one of the ways certain diseases spread to horses, will have to find new hosts due to the horses slowly dying. The horse population in North Africa has decreased by 25% over the last 40 years. In turn, this decrease is disrupting the food chain. The organisms that eat these horses are not going to have prey anymore.
What about in the next 40 to 50 years? What is going to happen to the Berber horse population in the future?
The population statistics for Berber horses are only going to continue to drop in the coming decades since they can't migrate or adapt. This can be prevented if vaccines were produced and distributed to the Sahel.
Sounds like Berber horses are going extinct will affect many other populations. Thank you for the information, Natasha.
Now I'm here with Chloe, who will be informing us on how disease in the Sahel affects humans. Chloe, why are reproduction rates of disease-spreading insects rising in this region?
Due to changes in the Sahelian climate, like increased flooding during the dry season and warmer temperatures, mosquitoes and other insects that contribute to the spread of disease can reproduce more during the year.
That is so scary. So, how is this impacting people in the Sahel?
This causes more people to get sick with malaria and other diseases for more of the year. Malaria cases have increased by 30% since 2019 in Nigeria.
Clearly, an effective solution needs to be put in place so that everyone stays healthy. Let's go to Anika to find out possible solutions. Is there a solution to African horse sickness in Berber horses?
There are actually already 2 vaccines for African horse sickness, and both are commercially available as well as available with vets. Also, advanced vaccines are effective in Berber horses populations in Europe, specifically Spain, so they would be effective in the Sahel as well.
Got it. So, how would vaccines impact other species and the ecosystem?
Well, first of all, farmers and people who use horses for transportation and working horses would get their resources back. Additionally, a multitude of other species would be impacted, like grasses that horses typically eat. These grasses would overgrow when the mortality rate is at its highest, and then as the horses start to reproduce and level back out, the grasses will become more controlled. Another animal, like African cougars, that prey on horses would suffer. Their resources suddenly decrease as the horses die with the epidemic, and advancing the vaccine will help restore the balance as the Berber horses try to repopulate.
Wow. Thank you for the insight, Anika.
Of course.
And that concludes today's AMC News episode. We hope you understand how climate change is causing a mass spread of diseases in the Sahel region and further hurting Berber horses and their population size.
Dance right now. Go Chloe! We should do that. Well.